parents gave my sister a new house for graduation, then I got my present. It's a gym membership. They said. I got angry and left. A month later, when my sister lost the house and casino. Graduation day was supposed to be a celebration. Barbara and I had both graduated from college, and our parents had gathered the family for a big dinner. I expected a speech, maybe some sentimental nonsense about how proud they were. What I didn't expect was for them to turn to Barbara with big smiles and say, "We got you a house." A house. A brand new house, fully paid for, worth $120,000. The whole room erupted in applause as she gasped and put her hands over her mouth, pretending to be surprised, even though I was sure she knew. She always knew. Then my father turned to me and I felt the moment stretch. My heart was pounding because surely, they had something planned for me, too. Maybe not a house, but something that said I was important. "And for you, Tom." My mother smiled, prolonging the moment. "It's a gym membership." For a second I thought I had misheard. But no, they were serious. I looked around the room, waiting for someone to say something, but then Barbara burst out laughing. Then my dad. Then my cousins. Soon most of the table was laughing like it was the funniest joke in the world. I felt something inside me crack. I pushed back my chair, stood up, and said, "Are you kidding me?" That only made them laugh harder. Barbara wiped a fake tear from her eye. "Come on, Tom, don't be so dramatic." I looked at my parents. They gave her a house and gave me what? A hint that I should lose weight. My mom sighed as if I was embarrassing her. "It's for your health, Tom. You should be grateful." Barbara leaned back in her chair and smiled. "Yes, Tom. Maybe if you go to the gym, you'll earn yourself a house someday." That was it. I turned to my uncle, the only one who wasn't laughing. He shook his head slightly, as if he couldn't believe what he was seeing. I grabbed my coat, looked at my parents and said, "You know what? Keep your gym membership." Then I looked at Barbara. "Enjoy your house while it lasts." And I walked out. I made a decision that night. I was done living under her roof. I had saved enough to get my own place. It wouldn't be fancy, but it would be mine. A month passed. I moved into my apartment and cut off contact with them. Barbara spent those weeks throwing parties at her new house and calling me sometimes just to rub it in. "Hey, how's the apartment? Must be so cute and tiny." Then one night my phone buzzed. "Barbara." I ignored it. She called again. Then my mom called. Then my dad. Finally I picked up the phone, and my mom's voice was desperate. Barbara had lost the house. Lost it? I thought maybe she had been robbed or had some kind of disaster. But no. She had lost it in a casino. She had this brilliant idea of doubling her money. She didn't tell anyone, just went into a high-stakes game and kept betting until she had nothing left. She didn't just lose her life savings. She literally signed over the house as collateral for a massive bet and lost. Just like that, it was gone. I almost laughed. Not out of cruelty, but because it was so absurd. My father said, "We need your help." I knew where this was going. "She's homeless now. We need you to help us pay her rent until we get this straightened out." I hung up. The next day, Barbara showed up at my apartment. She wasn't laughing anymore. She stood in the hallway looking miserable and said she had nowhere else to go. I reminded her that she had a gym membership. She kept coming back. Every day, knocking on my door begging. My parents kept calling, pressuring me, making it seem like it was my responsibility. "You're her brother. Family takes care of family." I asked them where that attitude was when they gave her a house and gave me a glorified voucher. Things escalated. My dad started telling relatives that I was selfish. My mother cried that I was making my own sister suffer. But my uncle, the only sane person in the family, stepped in. He told my parents to back off. He told Barbara to deal with her own mess. He made it clear that if they didn't leave me alone, he would make sure everyone in the extended family knew exactly how they were treating me. My father hated that. He stormed off, but they eventually stopped calling me. Barbara finally found an apartment. Not a house, just a tiny apartment. She had to get a second job to afford it. Last week she called again, acting all nice, asking if we could have lunch. I told her I was busy. I guess she finally realized that if you spend your whole life laughing at someone, they won't feel bad when you lose. A few weeks went by, and I thought things had finally calmed down. No more calls from my parents, no more knocks on my door from Barbara. I was enjoying the peace. Then, one night, I came home from work, and as I walked up to my apartment building, I saw someone sitting on the stoop. It was Barbara. She looked terrible. Her usually perfect hair was a mess, and her expensive clothes were wrinkled as if she had slept in them. She got up when she saw me. "I have nowhere to go," she said. I sighed. "Not my problem." She followed me up the stairs. "Come on, Tom. Just for a few nights." "No." She grabbed my arm. "Please." I shook her off and unlocked my door. "You have friends. Go to them." She hesitated. Then, in a low voice, she said, "They won't return my calls." That made me pause. Barbara had always surrounded herself with people, but now I realized they weren't real friends. They were there for the parties, the free drinks, the fancy house. Now that she had nothing, they were gone. But that wasn't my problem. I went inside and closed the door. The next morning, she was still there. Sitting in front of my building, wrapped in a thin jacket, looking miserable. I ignored her and went to work. That night she was gone. I thought that was the end of it. But then strange things began to happen. One night I went to get food out of the fridge and noticed that things were missing. Just little things at first. A soda I swore I hadn't drunk. A box of instant noodles gone. Then one day, my leftovers from last night's dinner were gone. I lived alone. I started paying attention. I checked the locks. Everything seemed normal. But then I noticed something strange. The window in my tiny laundry room, the one I never opened, wasn't locked. I had a bad feeling. That night, I set up my cell phone to record the kitchen. The next morning, I reviewed the footage. At 2 a.m., the laundry room window slid open and Barbara climbed in. I stared at the screen in shock. She crept into the kitchen, opened my refrigerator, and started eating. Then she grabbed a blanket from my closet, curled up on the floor, and went to sleep. She had been sneaking in for days. I confronted her that night. She denied it at first, but when I showed her the video, she broke down. She had been sleeping in her car, too ashamed to ask our parents for more help. She said she was desperate. I told her she had 1 hour to get her things and leave. She left, but my parents found out. They were furious. My dad called and yelled at me for being a heartless, selfish brother. My mom said I was cruel for letting my own sister sleep on the street. I told them I wasn't the one who gambled away her house. A few days later, I got a call from my uncle. He wasn't surprised. He told me something I didn't know. My parents had given Barbara everything since we were kids. When she wrecked her first car, they bought her another without a second thought. When she failed college courses, they paid someone to tutor her. Every mistake she made, they covered for her. "She's never had any consequences, Tom," he said. "Maybe it's time she learned." Then came the biggest surprise of all. Barbara was arrested. It turned out that she had gotten desperate enough to try to steal from a store. She got caught. My parents bailed her out, of course, and instead of blaming her, they blamed me. They said that if I had just helped her, she wouldn't have been forced to steal. That was it. I was done. I blocked them all. Months went by. I got a promotion at work, moved to a better apartment, and finally felt free. I heard bits and pieces through my uncle. Barbara was struggling. My parents still made excuses for her, but they had finally stopped bothering me. Then one day I got a text from an unknown number. "I'm sorry, Barbara." I didn't reply. Sometimes people only realize what they had when they lose it all. A few months went by, and life was finally quiet. No more phone calls, no more guilt trips. Barbara was working 2 jobs to afford her tiny apartment, and my parents had stopped trying to blame me for their mess. Or so I thought. One night I came home to find Barbara sitting on the steps outside my apartment building. She looked unkempt, her hair a mess, dark circles under her eyes. She was scrolling through her phone, pretending she wasn't waiting for me. I sighed. "What do you want?" She stood and brushed herself off. "I just need to talk." I didn't answer, just unlocked my door and stepped inside. She followed. "Look, I know I messed up," she said, pacing my living room. "I was stupid, I get it. But I can't do this anymore, Tom. I can't work 2 jobs, I can't live in this shoebox of an apartment. So what, you want me to pay for a bigger place for you?" She hesitated. "No. I mean, I don't know. I think I should move back home." I laughed. A full, genuine laugh. "Great. Go tell Mom and Dad. I'm sure they'll welcome their golden child back with open arms." She folded her arms. "I did. They said no?" That took me by surprise. She sighed and sat down on my couch, rubbing her temples. "They said they didn't have the space. They didn't want me bringing my bad choices into their home. Mom literally said, 'You had a house and you lost it, so figure it out.'" I stared at them. "You mean the same people who begged me to help you? The same people who called me selfish?" She nodded. "Yes. As soon as they realized that bailing me out wasn't an option, they dropped me. For a moment I almost felt bad. Almost. Then she looked at me. I was hoping maybe I could stay here for a while. Just until I got back on my feet. I didn't even hesitate. No." Her jaw clenched. "Come on, Tom. I wouldn't be here if I had other options." "You had options," I said. "You had a house. You could have lived comfortably for years. But you laughed at me, rubbed it in my face, and gambled it away like an idiot. And now that Mom and Dad won't help you, you suddenly remember I exist?" Her face contorted in frustration. "You don't have to be such a jerk about it." "Yes, I do," I shot back. "Because you would never have done that for me. If the roles were reversed, you'd be laughing about this." She looked away, her jaw clenched. She knew I was right. After a few moments of silence, she stood up. "Fine. I'll think of something else." She stormed for the door. "But don't act like you're better than me. You think just because you have a crappy little apartment, you're on top of the world? News flash, Tom, Mom and Dad don't care about you either. They only tolerate you because you're not a burden." She slammed the door behind her. I thought that was the end of it. But the next day I got a call from my mother. "Tom, what did you say to your sister?" She called us crying. I laughed. She showed up at my house expecting me to fix her life. I told her no. Mom sighed dramatically. "Tom, she's your sister. You need to be there for her. You weren't there for her." "Why should I be?" There was a long pause. "This isn't about us. It's about family." I cut her off. "Oh, now it's about family? Where was that energy when you were giving out houses?" She started to say something, but I hung up. The real chaos began a few days later. Barbara, apparently having decided that I wasn't going to help her, had gone back to our parents' house anyway. She showed up unannounced and demanded that they let her move back in. When they refused, things got ugly. She screamed at them. Called them hypocrites. Told them they had spent their whole lives coddling her and now, when she actually needed them, they were turning their backs on her. Then this was the part that shocked me: she told them they were terrible parents. My mother lost it. She screamed back that Barbara was ungrateful, that she had ruined everything they had given her, that she had embarrassed the family. My dad, who was usually the calmer one, told her that maybe it was time for her to learn to stand on her own 2 feet. Barbara didn't take it well. She picked up a decorative vase from the table and threw it against the wall. It shattered. That was the last straw. My dad grabbed her arm and dragged her to the door, yelling that if she ever did anything like that again, she'd never be welcome back. Barbara left. And somehow, instead of blaming her for her actions, my parents turned it on me. "If you'd just let her stay with you, My mom snapped over the phone later, this wouldn't have happened. I laughed. Oh, so now she's my problem again? What happened to working it out? We're your parents, Tom. You should do what we tell you. I almost felt sorry for them. They had spent their whole lives playing favorites, shaping Barbara into someone who thought she could do no wrong. And now that it had backfired, they had no idea what to do with her. I told them I was done. I wasn't going to pay Barbara's rent. I wasn't going to fix her mistakes. I wasn't going to be part of their family drama anymore. That's when my uncle stepped in again. He called me that night. You need to set some real limits, Tom. They're never going to stop until you do. I told him I already had. Good. Because if they keep this up, I'm getting involved. I don't care if it ruins our family's reputation. I don't know exactly what he said to them, but after that, my parents stopped calling. Barbara stopped showing up. It was the quietest my life had been in years. Then, a week later, I got a text message from Barbara. I hope you're happy. You got what you wanted. I didn't reply. Because, honestly? Yes. I was happy. Things were peaceful for a while. No more phone calls, no more guilt trips, no more Barbara showing up at my door looking for a way out. I thought maybe they had finally learned their lesson. I should have known better. It started with a message from my father. Just a casual "Hey, call me when you get a chance." I ignored it. I knew that nothing good ever came from those messages. A few hours later, my mom called. I let it go to voicemail. Then Barbara called. I was tempted to answer, just to see what ridiculous request she had this time, but I didn't. The next morning I woke up to another message from my father. We need to talk about something important. Call us. Against my better judgment, I finally called back. My mom picked up right away, her voice all sweet, like she wasn't about to ask for anything. Tom, it's been so long since we talked. How are you? I didn't even give her a smile. What do you want? She sighed, as if I was being unreasonable. It's about Barbara. Of course it was. She hesitated before saying. She's having trouble with the rent. She's really trying, but she can barely make ends meet. We thought. I cut her off. No. She got defensive. You don't even know what I was going to say. I do, I said. You were going to ask me to help you pay your rent. And the answer is no. She huffed. Tom, she's your sister. She's family. She just needs a little help until she gets back on her feet. Like the house you gave her? The one she lost in a casino? There was a long pause before my father finally spoke. She made a mistake, but she's learning. We just need you to do a little bit. We'll all pitch in. That made me laugh. Oh, really? How much are you two contributing? Silence. Then my mom said, well, we help in other ways. I knew what that meant. They didn't give her a dime. So you want me to pay her rent while you do what exactly? Give her pep talks? My father's tone grew sharp. Don't be disrespectful. I scoffed. Oh, but it's not disrespectful to ask me to take care of your favorite child. Where was that generosity when I needed help? My mother sighed, as if she were the victim here. Tom, it's not about that. You have a good job, you have stability. Barbara doesn't. That's not my problem. That's when Barbara jumped into the conversation. I didn't even know she was on the line. Jesus, Tom, will you ever stop being bitter? She snapped. I laughed. Oh, sorry, am I supposed to just forget how you treated me? You're acting like I personally stole from you, she shot back. I made a bad choice, okay? But you have a good life. You can afford to help me. Just because I can doesn't mean I will. She groaned. You're so selfish. Am I? I said. Where was that energy when you were making fun of my cute little apartment? Silence. Then she tried another angle. Fine. Whatever. If you won't help me, at least lend me some money. I'll pay you back. I laughed again. No, you won't. You don't even pay your own rent. she snapped. You're unbelievable. You're acting like a petty child. You'd rather see me struggle than help your own sister. I didn't even hesitate. Yep. My dad lost it. Tom, enough. We raised you better than this. That pissed me off. No, you didn't. You raised me to be the backup plan. And guess what? I quit. I hung up. Over the next few days, they kept calling. Sometimes it was my mom, sometimes my dad, sometimes Barbara. I ignored each one. Then my uncle called. They say you're refusing to help Barbara. That you're being cruel. I sighed. And what do you think? He chuckled. I think they're panicking because their golden child has finally run out of luck. And I think you're right to tell them no. That was all the confirmation I needed. The next day I got a final text from Barbara. You're going to regret this. I blocked her number. I thought that was the end of it. But a week later, something happened that changed everything. A week after I blocked Barbara, I started getting strange mail. At first, I ignored it, but when I finally opened one of the letters, my stomach dropped. It was from a bank I didn't recognize, about a loan I had never taken out. Someone had taken out a huge loan in my name. I checked the details, and there it was, my parents' home address. I drove straight to their house, not bothering to call ahead. My mom opened the door with a nervous smile. I held up the letter. Explain. She glanced at my dad. Tom, we were going to tell you. When? After I got sent to collections? My dad sighed. It's just a loan, Tom. We needed a little help. With what? Paying for Barbara's mess? Barbara stepped outside, arms crossed. You're overreacting. I almost laughed. You stole my identity, and I'm the one overreacting? My mom grabbed my arm. We raised you. Don't you think you owe us something? That hit me. Owe you? My dad crossed his arms. You're acting selfish. We knew you'd never help willingly. I pulled out my phone. You have 48 hours to fix this, or I call the cops. They panicked. 2 days later, the loan was paid off. I didn't ask how. I locked down my credit, blocked their numbers, and cut them off for good. That was over a year ago. Now I live my own life. My credit is fine, my job is stable, and I don't waste a second thinking about them. Barbara, though? She's drowning in debt. My parents finally realize she's a burden, but instead of taking responsibility, they just complain. And now they call me. Not to ask for money, at least not directly. They want me back. The good son. The stable one. The backup plan. I don't answer. Because I know the truth. They never wanted me. They just wanted what I could give them. And they're never getting anything from me again.